Jamila Aminu from Department of Mass Communication, Faculty of Social Science, taking a course titled Fundamentals of Journalism. The course code is MCM112. The course outline are definition of journalism, who is a journalist, qualities of a good journalist, responsibilities of a journalist, what is mass communication, differences between mass communication and journalism, journalistic concepts. Definition of journalism. What is journalism? Journalism is the activities of gathering, assessing, creating and presentation of news and information. It is also the product of these activities. Journalism can be distinguished from other activities and products by certain identifiable characteristics and practices. These elements not only separate journalism from other forms of communication, they are what makes it indispensable to democratic societies. So history reveals that the more a democratic society, the more news and information it tends to have. The purpose of journalism is to provide citizens with the information they need in order to make the best possible decision about their lives, about their communities, about their societies, and about their own governments. So journalism is defined by Dennis Maxwell as paid writing and the audiovisual equivalent for public media with reference to actual and ongoing events of public relevance. Who is a journalist? A journalist is a person who collects, writes, or distributes news or other current information to the public. So a journalist's work is called journalism, and this journalist can work with general issue or specialize in a particular issue. What are the qualities of a good journalist? There is no prescribed qualification for a journalist, but not everyone can be a good journalist. A journalist went through hard work of test and training. One of the quality of a good journalist is what? Curiosity. A journalist needs to know more and more, at least 5 times more than the ordinary person. A journalist should have the tendency to ask and learn about things by what? By asking, investigating, and exploring. Another point is creativity. There are moments when nothing newsworthy happens. So this is where creativity comes into the picture. Another point is commitment. This is one of the most important qualities of a journalist. So some people who become a journalist are committed to attend assigned duties even in adverse situation. Another point is dependability. A journalist should be able to create among the people trust for him. The news sources must trust the journalist completely before they will be able to release that information to you as a journalist. Another point is skepticism. As a journalist, you must be skeptical. A journalist should have the habit and quality to double check everything before the final presentation. So the next point is what? The responsibilities of a journalist. What are the responsibilities of a journalist? Number 1, reporting the truth. Journalists have a fundamental duty to report the truth and provide accurate and factual information to the best of their abilities. Another point is objectivity and what? Fairness. Journalists strive to present news in an objective and fair manner, free from biases or personal opinion. Another point is serving the public interest. Journalists are committed to serving the public interest by providing information that is relevant, significant, and useful to the public. Another point is protecting sources. Journalists often rely on confidential sources to uncover important information and hold those in power accountable. Another point is ethical conduct. Journalists adhere to ethical standards and professional code of conduct. They should avoid plagiarism, fabrication, and distortion of facts and invasion of what? Privacy. Another point under responsibility of a journalist is what? Transparency and accountability. Journalists should be transparent. A journalist should be transparent and should be able to journalists should be transparent about their method, about their sources, and about any conflict of interest. Another point is adherence to legal and ethical guidelines. Journalists must operate within the boundaries of law and legal restriction on reporting, such as defamation or privacy law. The next point is mass communication. What is mass communication? So for this mass communication to exist, we need an intermediate transmitter of information. What are these intermediate transmitter of information? The intermediate transmitter of information, it means the mass medium. Mass medium such as the newspaper, the magazines, films, radio, television, or combination of these. So mass communication is a message communicated through mass medium to a large of audience. Mass communication is also the study of how people exchange information. It is also the study of how people exchange their information through the mass media to large segment of population at the same time. So in other words, mass communication refers to the impacting and exchanging of information on a large scale to a wide range of people. So what are the differences between this mass communication and journalism? So mass communication refers to the process of creating, transmitting, and receiving messages to a large and diverse audience. It encompasses the study and practice of various forms of media, including print, broadcast, television, and radio. So online media, advertising, public relations, and more. Mass communication focuses on how messages are produced, disseminated, and received by a mass audience. So journalism, on the other hand, is a specific profession within the broader field of mass communication. So it involves the gathering, verification, and dissemination of news and information to the public through various media channels. So journalists play a critical role in providing timely, accurate, and objective news coverage to inform the public about events, about issues, and development. So the field of mass communication explore theories, concepts, and practices related to media effects, audience analysis, media industries, media technologies, media ethics, and media literacy. So it examines the social, cultural, and political implications of mass media and the ways in which media shapes the public opinion, influences behavior, and impacts society as a whole. So journalism focuses on the principles of reporting, writing, editing, and storytelling. Journalists research, interview sources, investigate stories, and present news in a fair, balanced, and ethical manner. They strive to provide accurate and reliable information while upholding standards of transparency, accountability, and journalistic integrity. While journalism is a key component of mass communication, encompasses a broader scope, including other areas such as advertising, public relations, media studies, media production, and media management. The next point is journalistic concepts. Journalistic concept. Under journalistic concept, we have news. What is news? So there is yet to be universally accepted definition of what news is or is not. According to Harkup 2012, defines news as a selective version of the world event with a focus on that which is new and unusual. The next point is news elements. What are news elements? What makes news story newsworthy? What makes you want to know about news? Number one is what? Proximity. What is the meaning of proximity? Proximity means location. So if any event is happening nearby, it will impact readers more than if it were happening somewhere else. The next point is prominence. A well-known person, place or event has a stronger news angle than something that the audience isn't familiar with. The next point is timeliness. Current news has more impact than something that happened yesterday or last week. People always want to know what happened today, not what happened yesterday or what happened last week. The next point is oddity. If something is unusual, if something is shocking, if something is bizarre, the strangeness alone could make it newsworthy. For example, if a dog bites a man, is a normal circumstance, is normal. It will not attract the news angle because it's a normal thing that's happening every day. But if a man should bite a dog, it will attract the attention of news because it's unusual. The next point is consequence. If the impact of an event directly affects readers, they will want to know more about it. Another point is what? Conflicts. Readers are always interested in disagreement and what? Argument. People want to know about disputes. Another point is human interest. If situation draws any sort of emotional reaction, then it might contain the news element of human interest story. The next point is types of news. We have two types of news. We have hard news and soft news. What is hard news stories? This type of news usually refers to serious and timely stories about important topics. The story may include a major crime or corruption, diplomatic, legal issues, accidents, labor disputes, political campaign, etc. Hard news is also known as the what? Sport news or straight news. Hard news stories make up the bulk of news reporting. So hard news consists of basic facts. That is, consists of the who, what, when, where, and how. It is news of important public events. So soft news. What is soft news? This news refers to features or human interest stories. Soft news entertain and what? Inform. The news also appeal to readers' emotions. Soft news or feature news covers a wide space. Most soft news interest the audience. They typically rely on human interest for their news value. They appeal to people's curiosity, sympathy, and skepticism.